Just what are your general thoughts on the game?
Well, I thought we came out and played well. Obviously, the conditions weren't good. The wind was howling. I was kind of concerned about, the pitchers really for both teams throwing the ball over the plate. I was concerned about our team, but I thought it might be an issue with the wind and, because it was moving pretty good. And for the most part, I don't think we had a walk to the last inning. So I was really pleased with that. Didn't want to give them any freebies. Offensively, Davlin did what he's been doing for a couple of weeks now, getting on base and starting rallies, driving in runs later, or moving people around. And think about his hustle and play there in the 12-run inning. He was flying down the line, called him out, ended up being safe, and then Eloy the next pitch, or we get to extend that inning, hits the ball with the wall, gets 3 RBIs, and just up and down the lineup for the most part, we swung it good. It was good to get those guys like, Souza hit a home run, and Helfrich got 2 hits in a game, and I think that's the first time in his career here. And maybe not. Sometimes you just hit it at people, but it's good that he got those hits. And just trying to build it up, get confident, get these guys confident and ready to go for the weekend.
I think McGuire had sat for about 40 minutes before he came back out for the 5th. Was there any thought to going to somebody else there?
Well, what we did is he just kept moving around. He's throwing a ball in there, and just stayed loose as can be. And because he only threw 30 pitches in 3 innings, 31. Really wanted to send him back out, get a little more work. But I let Coach Hobbs and Tate handle that one, and it seemed like it worked out because he went out and had a quick inning.
Were you happy with how Colin bounced back today?
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball really well. I think they hit one ball hard on him really in 2 innings, and threw his fastball into righties and threw a good changeup, spotted up a lot of pitches, and got some work in, and got us off to a good start.
12-run inning is so rare. Yeah. I think you've only had 3 of them since you've been here.
Really?
But, what did you see that allowed that inning to continue to go on?
Well, I feel like, and I just talked to the guys about it out there, that's what I mentioned, that 12 runs in an inning, that's super hard to do. Just things happen, you're going to make outs, hit balls at people, whatever. I think they just did a good job of not trying to do too much. They took some walks, we had some singles, home run, extra base hits, but they just didn't chase, didn't get themselves out. And, then obviously I mentioned that Davlin really hustled down the line, freezing cold day, game was in hand pretty much at the time. And, here he is, giving everything he's got to beat that ball out, and he did. And then, the next hitter hits a triple and drives in 3 more runs, and that got the next hitter up. And what did he do? He hit a home run, or I don't know. We just kept scoring, and I don't know, just kind of doing what they do and not trying to do too much, pass to the next guy. And we had a big inning down there at Ole Miss, and super big inning today, and you have to work for those now.
Top 6 guys in your order today, all hitting over 350, I guess. 2 parts. First, just how's the entire team doing, I guess, offensively approaching up to this point in the season?
Approaching who?
Their approach at the plate, sorry.
Yeah. So, the approach is good. I just think we've got some guys that are talented hitters that have bought into a few things and have made adjustments with 2 strikes. We have it. We try to shift the field a little bit. What we mean by that is go the other way, look maybe outside in, fight. And it's paid off with a lot of foul balls, working to get a pitch you can handle a little bit. And, it's good to have those guys swinging the bat. We got to get those guys at the end to contribute, and they did a good job today. So that's why we scored 16 runs.
And I guess, yesterday you had the Eloy brothers hitting back-to-back. Today you put Maxwell in between the twos. Is that just mixing it up, or is there something that you'd eventually want to land on, one or the other?
Well, I've done both a little bit the last few weeks, and just mix in a left-handed hitter between all the rights. Maxwell's also a guy that, you know, you can use him to do things, hit and run, bunt. He's a really good bunter, good at handling the bat. So it just, you know, maybe just to break up, you know, guys that are maybe known more for just swinging.
With another run rule, was there anybody who hasn't pitched yet this year who might have gotten into this game?
We have a couple freshmen that we've told them and discussed things with them, and that kind of letting them let us know if they're good pitching just a little bit or taking a red shirt, and so there's a possibility, but it would have had to have gone 9 today, and it still could happen. We kind of went with our plan. You know, when we looked like we were going to run rule, we only threw Carter 1 inning. Eves could have thrown 2 innings as well. Could have brought in McIntyre too. You know, depending on what the game was, that was 2-2 and 2-2, whatever, all the way for the most part going through. Tate went out for a 3rd inning because his pitch count was so low. But that's the way we planned it. If we needed to bring in and let the couple freshmen throw at the end because it got crazy or game was, you know, whatever, just guys we don't want to use guys on that we're going to plan on putting on the roster for the weekend too much. But yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Still looking at it with some guys. If the season goes on a little farther and they haven't pitched, that will redshirt some guys.
Do you want to say who those freshmen were?
Do what?
Do you want to say who those freshmen
No.
were? Okay.
I don't know how many freshmen. You can just pick any of them out on that roster that you'd like.
Hey, you said a week or so ago you thought Gage's rehab was going
Yeah.
quicker. I mean, is there any chance you could see him this weekend?
Oh no, not gonna see him this weekend. Yeah, I mean, he had some soreness in there, and then also, you know, then we're just making sure we're just taking our time with it. Let's leave it at that.
One other quick injury one, just how did Hunter Dietz' session go the other week, and where's he at?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that, I mean, he's throwing the ball 91, 92, 93 now. It's just a matter of, you know, him being able to get our hitters out. And I would say he's probably at least a couple weeks away, but we're still working to get him back. We need another guy. We need a left-hander.
What do you think it's going to be like to see Paul Maneri this weekend in the other dugout?
It'll be different seeing him in a different uni like that. I've known Paul for a long time, coached a lot of games against him, and yeah, it'll be fun to see him over there. You know, when the game starts, all about trying to beat him.
Do you know much about South Carolina yet?
No, not really. I mean, can I name all their players? I can name some of them. You know, they went right, left, right last weekend. We don't know what they're going to do yet. You know, that's already started, but we'll really dig into it starting after the game now and in the morning.
I guess from your pitching standpoint, are you still waiting to see what you're going to do rotation-wise?
Yeah. We'll obviously tomorrow's Thursday. We'll announce it tomorrow.
I guess, did you get what you wanted out of, you know, changing it up last week at Ole Miss? Just looking back on it.
Well, if you look back at our starters last week, you know, all 3 of them will probably tell you they didn't have a good start, and we didn't have good starts. The bullpen did a great job, and we swung the bats. We need the starters, you know, to get off to a better start, so to speak. You know, Gackle he did well after he got through the first inning. He threw great. His stuff was really good. The other 2 guys weren't as sharp as they had been in the past, locating. Their stuff was pretty good. Location wasn't what it needs to be in our league, so hopefully they'll get that going. But I mean, to answer your question, to me it doesn't matter when they pitch. Just when they pitch, they need to pitch well. To me, I'd say this to the guys all the time: the games all count the same, whether you win on Friday or Sunday. The goal is to, at a minimum, to win 2 out of 3, and hopefully win them all. So. Just when they get the ball this weekend, go give us, you know, a good start, give us a chance to get off to a good start so we can get into the game a little bit.
I guess you would have used the tablets last week at Ole Miss. Does that change anything from what you've been doing previously?
No, not really. You know, it's just information that's right there when everybody's supposed to have the same, and I don't feel like it's that big a difference. Okay.
You hit one pretty close to the warning track. How close do you think that went to came to going out?
When I looked up today and saw the wind, I thought it was blowing in originally, and then Coach Warner said it was blowing out. So we were all just trying to hit the ball hard. That one I hit, though, I did not think it was going out. And then I just kept watching it, and it almost went out. And I actually knew that pitcher. He's from Omaha. He's an Omaha kid, so it would have been kind of fun to have hit that one out, but it didn't. So next at bat.
What's it feel like being part of the lineup whenever you have an inning like that? Because they're pretty rare.
It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of guys who feed off each other. It's a great unit, great team unit. We like playing with each other, and when someone hits a rocket, we just keep telling each other we're going to hit lasers. So we're just trying to hit lasers and compete in every at-bat.
You've had, I mean, none that big as today, but you've had a lot of these 6, 8, 10-run innings this year. I mean, is there a feeling in the dugout, like you can kind of feel this coming? I mean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course. You know, when hitting is contagious. I think a lot of hitting's mental, and when you have guys you can visibly see they're confident in their at-bats, it feeds to the rest of the group. So that's just the importance of body language and going up there with an attacking mindset when you're hitting.
Colin, how did you feel today went for you?
I thought it was good. I had my command back for on Sunday. I was kind of all over the place, missing my spots. So today I just felt like I had pretty much everything going, and it just felt good.
Cam, you're amongst the top 6 in the order that's hitting over 350. Just as a team and on the season as a whole, just kind of what's led to the team-wide success at the plate?
Well, I think we get up there and we just really attack. You know, we get up there and we want to hit the ball hard. We just always talk about hitting lasers. So when you talk about good things, usually good things happen. So that's just kind of what we've been doing.
Colin, I think Tate sat for about 40 minutes
Yeah.
while that whole thing was going on. Just from pitcher's perspective, how difficult is it to do that, especially if you're coming out of the pen?
Yeah, it's really difficult. You don't really have anywhere to play catch, get back, getting your arm warm and stuff. So sitting for 45 minutes to an hour, like what he did, and in the cold too, is really impressive. So it's really difficult as a pitcher.
You should have played catch in the tunnel.
Yeah, he could have, but doubt he did.
I think they've got a lot of Oklahoma guys on their roster. Were there any of those hitters that you were familiar with?
The only one I was familiar with was Edmondson. He played here last year. He's not from, or he is from Oklahoma, but I played with him last year. That was the only hitter I know a lot of the pitchers though. So.
Well, when people talk about the wind, they talk about fielding in the wind and everything. But Dave was talking about in his pregame show how it's tough on you pitchers standing up there on the mound, and especially today with it blowing basically straight into your face. How difficult was that to navigate?
It wasn't since we have the seats and all that kind of covering it, it wasn't too bad, but you could definitely feel on some pitches when the wind would really gust. It was kind of moving the ball a little bit, and you really had to make sure to keep it down today, because if you left it up, they would probably hit it over the fence. So keeping it down.
Is that where you have to make an adjustment because maybe the wind's
Yeah.
moving a certain pitch a certain way?
Yeah, especially my changeup. So it was kind of moving a little more than I expected. So especially when I felt the wind coming in hard and I was throwing a changeup, I had to think about getting it more out there instead of just throwing it normal.
You got any thoughts, Cam, about your first SEC game here this weekend?
It'll be special. I'll go through the normal routine as will everyone else, and it'll be a fun experience. Slow the game down. Don't let things get out of control. Stay together as a unit and go out there and hit lasers.
Well, I was gonna ask Fisher. I mean, as far as the mentality between starter and coming out of the bullpen, how different is that? How different is your approach from when you know you're going to pitch midweek start versus when you come in on the weekends and you know you're coming out of the pen?
Yeah, I feel like when you're starting, you have more of a routine. You're going to throw the first couple innings, and when you're coming out of the bullpen, you don't really know when you're going to throw. So there's a lot more sitting around when you're coming out of the bullpen, so you don't have that normal routine of when you're starting and knowing you're going to throw some innings. So just trying to keep loose and stuff while you're in the bullpen is what I've been trying to do when I'm in relief and not starting.
Cam, did you play against South Carolina last year?
I did, yep. It was at South Carolina, and that was not a very fun place to play and as a atmosphere as a whole. So It'll be a fun series. I'm excited to play against them, and played against a couple other guys in the Cape, so familiar with them, and it'll be a fun time.
Is there anything you take? I know the roster changes so much from year to
Yeah.
year, and they got a new coach. Anything, though, that you're able to take out of that experience from last year with the players who are back?
I don't really think so. I know Petrie. I know he's a returner. He's a big name, but nameless, faceless opponents. Go out there and attack and play our game, and we should be just okay.
Thank you.